Hey there, you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by, spending a few minutes of your day with Galadon Gaming. And yes, the moral of the story, never beat your mom. Now, these battles happened live while I was live streaming on Camcord. You can come check it out, maybe meet my mom, my wife in the future. They both play Clash Royale. The URL is right here. It is a free app for both Android and iOS. And if you follow me, you never have to miss a stream. But let's get into these battles. Yes, Galamom, she is a bit higher than Galadon Gem. We are both free-to-play accounts. Neither one of these accounts has ever spent a penny, but obviously Galamom, well, I believe she's up over 3,000 wins with this account right now, and Galadon Gem, obviously not quite as far, but Galamom, well, she's fallen in love with the Rage spell. You might have seen the recent video where we talked about Galamom Rage, and now we're seeing the true weaknesses of this deck that she's brought, and really the big one is the lack of splash damage. Now, I cannot talk her out of using the rocket. She loves the rocket. She loves to finish off towers with it, and I guess maybe out of frustration, taking hit points off the tower 400 or 500 at a time rather than getting any troops there. It's kind of a fundamentally flawed theory. It's the old Expo mortar theory, but we will let her run with it because she loves it, and I don't want to take her enjoyment out of the game. But also at the same time, I would definitely prefer bringing arrows or a fireball, and we will see why in just a few seconds as my minions are getting ready to head towards her tower. Bad arrows on my part, but check out the minions. Really nothing to stop them. She has no splash damage again whatsoever, no dragon either, nothing that could stop those guys, no wizard, and we are going to see a lot of damage today in this entire video from minions. So really the moral of this story is don't beat your mom and always bring splash damage that can control large groups of troops on defense. And speaking of defense, that is the way I've been winning way more battles across all of my accounts recently, is I'm not focused on pushing nearly as much. I'm sitting back just trying to defend the pushes from my opponent and wait for that opportunity. Here comes the Galamom Rage. She's got a knight on the tower. That is major damage to my tower. Finally, my minions are able to counter that, and Galamom's favorite Rage card, pretty effective, surprisingly effective with only really one troop banging on the tower. But here comes my minions, my goblins, and we are going to get to her tower. The Psychic Fireball didn't really work out there. I was anticipating something like the minion horde that we just saw. And check this out. You know you're in trouble when your arrows will not one-shot your opponent's minions. And here comes the rocket. Not my favorite card. Down to 7 hit points. 7 hit points remain on this tower with less than 15 seconds in this battle. Just hoping to try to push one more time after her tower. Cannot let anything touch that tower. Another rage spell, and that was unfortunate. That was a desperation rage spell right there. Did not quite work out, and because she spent all that elixir on the rage spell, we were able to get to the tower and just barely eke out the 1 crown win. So it was a close call, but I just barely did win, and the stream and the mom both demanded an immediate rematch, so we went right back into it, and you can see that there were definitely some people cheering on Galamom's side. They wanted her to come back and win, and I was going to do my best to try to take it quickly a second time. Hawk Riders and Barbarians right away, but that much higher level Valkyrie and the minions just annihilating all of my troops, and the disparity in troop levels right here was apparent. Not easy to take down these units, even with my fireball not getting through an already damaged Valkyrie. She gets to tower. The rage spell is going to be thwarted though by the goblins. Unfortunately, the knight is going to get in and get a whack or two on that tower, so the rage spell not overly effective, and she will just not step away from it. She still loves the rage spell. I'm trying to talk her out of the rage and the rocket. I'm telling her bring something besides both of those cards, but we will see what happens in the long run. Right now, that is what she is using, and she's already gotten my right tower way down. Doesn't look good early on, but I still hope to battle back, knowing right now that she didn't change up her deck. She comes in with another rocket, already taking my tower down, but my entire group of units got to her tower, and we will quickly tie it up 1 crown each. And that is one of the major disadvantages of the rocket card. It can leave you so elixir starved. And a lot of this game is about knowing how much elixir your opponent has. And if you use 6 elixir on a rocket, I know that you are not going to be able to put up much of a fight. much of a counter to a big push, and that is exactly what happened right there. Now, the thing is, I do sort of know Galamom's behavior, and that is when she gets one crown tower down, she will generally tend to go for 3 rather than the safer defend on your own side and maybe go for 2. So we're pushing hard on this other lane with the Hog Rider trying to get in there. Looks like it is going to get to the tower. Things looking pretty good right now, but the Knight gets in there, and just look how quickly that Knight wiped my Hog Rider out. That is a tough Knight, man. Gets both of those units down, and now she's moving in. The Knight's not going to get any other damage down, and luckily that time, the arrows do get the minions out of the way. So for this battle, I was really focused on defense. One Archer Rage, the old single Archer Rage spell. The Knight getting in there as well, but I will pull him off to the side. And again, I was just focused on trying to defend. I realize I am so far behind in card levels that I'm just hoping at this point to try to keep this battle to a stalemate. But no sooner do I decide to do that than I realize that this isn't going to work out very well, because with a 3-minute overtime, even with misplaced rage spells, all she needs to do is grind down 100 or 200 hit points at a time, and eventually, you know what is going to happen. She's going to bring in the rocket. So once again, the arrows not one-shotting the minions, trying to get something going, but she's got that cannon in the way. A full health cannon, that's going to take me a long time or a lot of troops to get through. We finally have got a bunch of minions on their way once again. It looks good, but just the archer and the tower are going to stop that. There, she stalls it with another Valkyrie, which works out pretty well. Even though it's not able to take the units down, it does stall them as they retarget and prevents me from getting anybody in on that tower. And now I realize that she just needs about another 100 or 200 hit points off this tower, and it's going to be rocket time. So we're just trying to hold her back, hold her off with anything we can. 30 seconds or so into overtime. Minions, and I've got my musketeer working, got my fireball ready. Not a lot I can do here other than just continue to try to defend over and over and over again. I have no hopes of getting to the tower anymore at this point. I'm just trying to stop her from getting another 200 or so hit points off, because we know. And now that fireball, probably a fireball mistake. We should not be focusing on that. We should be using these fireballs for things like big minion hordes that are just going to overwhelm my own minions, and eventually things are not looking good. We're down to the last 90 seconds or so of overtime, and you'll notice that she's had the rocket in her hand for a long time, but with this relatively low elixir hog cycle deck that I have, I'm able to keep almost constant pressure on her. Again, another fail fireball. Those fireballs, I'm going for this psychic thing where I'm trying to predict the dropping of her troops, and it's not working out time and time again, so don't do that. But at the same time, you can keep pressure on your opponent and prevent them from using the big elixir cards like, say, the Royal Giant, the Giant Skeleton, the Golem, the P.E.K.K.A, and the Rocket. If you can constantly keep pressure on your opponent, they will never have the opportunity to drop those big expensive cards because they are too focused on stopping you. But right here, it's finally happened. She just got a little bit more damage off that tower, and we know what is coming. Here comes the rocket. She's got it ready. She is going to click on it, and with my Hog Rider Barbarians Fireball, we almost get there. We can't quite get the damage in. So close. A couple more seconds, and we might have pulled out the W. Instead, Galamom takes it 2 crowns to 1. Alright, so of course that called for a rubber match, the final and deciding best 2 of 3 family championship series between Galadon and Galamom. Gala don't gem. Again, these are both free-to-play accounts. Never used a single gem on either one. Gala don't gem level 6, Galamom level 8. So this time, I did talk Galamom out of dropping the rocket. So she didn't bring the rocket this time, so I figured I had a chance. But then she brings the Goblin Barrel, probably the closest card to a rocket, direct damage on the tower. I've got the minions, though, and remember, she doesn't have arrows. She didn't switch in arrows, and here it goes. Ideal right here. The Hog Rider is going to come in, and that is going to draw the fire from the tower. And the minions, none of them will be targeted, and that means they will just melt mercilessly through that tower. It is gone, and she didn't have a counter. Again, no splash damage, no fireball, no arrows, not even a zap spell, and a zap would have been ideal there because her being level 8 would have one-shotted my minions with her zap spell. Instead, the tower is down, and the King's Tower is badly, badly damaged. This battle is all but over. It is just a matter of getting a few more units down to the King's Tower. And here come the barbarians. The minions in behind giving chase, but the barbs are going to get there. And yet again, a bad fireball. I just have to tell you guys, I don't normally play fireballs like this in regular matches, just so you know. Not advisable to try the psychic fireballs, nor arrowing the King's Tower. But at this point, I knew that just another fireball and a set of arrows would be more than enough to finish this battle off. Despite losing the tower on the left-hand side, it looks like we should be okay. It's just a matter of cycling back around to the fireball. She's got that knight in there. She still has the rage spell. She's going to enrage the knight and the archers. The archers get a lot of damage done. In fact, it suddenly looks bad for me. I'm down to about 1,000 hit points on the King's Tower. But again, we just need to rotate around to the fireball or get these minions to the tower. Again, no counter to the minions. Inferno Tower not going to do it, and the match is over. And I've got a 3-crown win against my own mom. But she's a good sport. She taught me to be a good sport from a very young age, and I have to thank her for that. Thank you, Galamom, for the battles, and thank you guys for coming to the streams, for watching the videos to the very end. And if you did, please leave hashtag Galafam down in the comments. I still do my best to read all of the comments. I appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you all back here again tomorrow for more full attacks.
Galadon. I'm part of the Galley fam, aren't I? Galadon? Galadon?